when they come out, their chances of finding jobs, earning a living, having a decent life will be almost nil.
1 in 3 young black men caught up in the criminal justice web. 32% on probation or parole, in prison or in jail. A crisis beyond question. But where are its roots? What are its remedies? And is the criminal justice system itself to blame? Race and the Law on this edition of Due Process.
Major funding for Due Process is made possible by the New Jersey State Bar Foundation, committed to educating the public about the law. Additional funding is provided by Lawyer's Diary and Manual, publishers of print and electronic information for and about the legal community, including the legislative manual.
Separate but equal, a term we don't hear much anymore, but one which continues to have profound impact on our lives. I'm Ray Brown, and this year marks the 100th anniversary of Plessy versus Ferguson, the Supreme Court decision which said that separate but equal treatment for blacks and whites was constitutional. And though the court reversed this ruling in 1954 with Brown versus the Board of Education, saying separate facilities were inherently unequal, the legacy of segregation stays with us. For overwhelming numbers of Americans, racially separate housing and schools are still the rule. And one of the consequences is that the majority of inner-city black kids, especially young men, are shut out when it comes to schooling and jobs. The one place they are in abundance, though, is in our jails and prisons. And while there are lots of opinions about this modern American dilemma, its causes and solutions, we don't seem to be making much progress. Here with a status report on the problem is Sandra King.
Ray, the status can be summed up in a word: unsatisfactory. Something clearly is very wrong, and the state Supreme Court is among those who've noticed. So 10 years ago, the court ordered a study to determine if there was racial bias in New Jersey courts, its nature, its extent, and it's no surprise that the answer was yes. No surprise, at least, to the legal scholars and historians who talked to us.
There does come a time when the disparity becomes so great that you can draw an inference that maybe something is wrong. We're just about at that point.
It's a point at which there are more young black men being held in jails and prisons than are enrolled in all this country's colleges and universities. That is fact.
Unfortunately, a large proportion of African-American young people are in fact caught up in criminal behavior.
But how they got there in such overwhelming numbers is still very much in dispute.
If the tables were turned and 40% of young white men, middle class, were caught up in the criminal justice system, we would then be wondering what is wrong with the system. Now we simply say, do we have enough prison space?
Is there simply that much more black crime? And if it's so, what caused it?
We have an unjust social order which pushes young black men into criminal conduct.
But are the underlying factors, social and economic, sufficient explanation for those disproportionate numbers? Stats that show that as many as 80% of young black men will be arrested for something at some point.
Race and class is closely linked to who gets in trouble, who gets put in jail, and again, who gets targeted for prosecution.
I don't think there's much doubt that there is a higher crime rate than there. That is not so much race-specific, I think, as inner-city race-specific than there is in suburban, largely white America.
Consider, for instance, the Essex County Youth House, the juvenile jail in the heart of Newark.
At some point, we got to go back to the beginning and start talking about, well, why do they keep coming back here?
They say it's a habit. Yeah. Once you come,
Coming in is a habit.
You can't stop coming here.
You think it's true?
Nah, it ain't true.
In a county where the black and Hispanic populations are just 54% or less, it is rare indeed to find any white delinquent within the youth house walls. Could all the white kids really be crime-free?
When the prosecutor makes his choice, he can pick a crime for whites. And he may not do this consciously, but he does. It's clear to me, the data is incontroverted, that he says, okay, starting with ROR, you can have ROR or some lesser form of punishment that doesn't require incarceration, and when they look at others for whatever reason they believe you need to be punished and incarcerated, isolated from the rest of American society.
Inner cities are at least generally perceived, I think, in reality are as being more dangerous places where more crime is.
There are few these days who will disagree that places like this one do produce more crime. But the explanations range from the practicalities of the profit motive.
You look at the profit margin associated with crime, particularly with regard to drug use, and you compare that to other alternatives which exist, you find them virtually non-existent today.
To black attitudes toward police.
Some tend to be more suspicious anytime a black man is arrested for anything and might be more willing to vote to acquit that person.
The country has been obsessed with the need to contain blacks as a despised group.
And in a society marked not only by centuries of slavery, but by generations of bias and brutality, those attitudes may find their origin. But is there something more current, discrimination more direct, to explain at least part of a glaring disparity?
Most of the studies indicate that at every level of the justice system, there's been a great deal of discrimination.
Not all legal scholars accept that as a given.
I do think that people often exaggerate claims of racial discrimination on the part of the criminal justice system.
But the Rutgers professor, who was New Jersey's public advocate, insists the pattern can be found at every point in the process, beginning with who gets arrested.
Once they get arrested, bail is set. And it turns out studies have been conducted to show bail is set higher for blacks than it is for whites.
And his Camden colleague says the pattern continues through the crucial question of who serves how much time.
If a white and black person commit the same crime, too often they are getting disparate sentences when all other factors are controlled for.
It was race that got us into this mess, and we can use race to get us out. I think it's somewhat farcical to argue that we've got a colorblind constitution. If we do, then it's the only thing in American society's history that was indeed colorblind.
But remedies can be elusive and politically unpopular, which may be why there's been so little action in the 4 years since the state Supreme Court study on bias. But there is a court committee established in the wake of that study. The committee's just issued its latest report, and there are some new initiatives. Whether they go to the core of the problem, whether we're talking about making a real difference, well, Ray, I will leave that to you and your guests.
Sandy, one of our guests is a member of the Supreme Court's Committee on Minority Concerns. The other, a member of my family. The Dean of the Criminal Defense Bar, my dad, and the assignment judge for 3 South Jersey counties on race and justice when we return. So stay with us.
A lot of things are based on discrimination because of race.
I don't think it has to do with race. What I think it is it depends on the financial standard of the person.
OJ would have been put down because of it. He didn't get put down because of race. I mean, he got off it.
If you don't have the money, you're dead meat. There's one big man that's ahead of it all, and it's like a setup for a prison for the black man.
If you are white or something, they'll treat you a little bit more different. I noticed that.
It doesn't influence me, but it influences some people.
Race should have nothing to do with anything, with the justice at all. Nothing.
Here to take on these questions of race and justice are two of the respected elder statesmen of the New Jersey legal community. Judge Samuel D. Simone, assignment judge of Gloucester, Salem, and Cumberland counties, and a member of the Supreme Court committee which just issued that report on minority concerns, and Raymond A. Brown, a lawyer for almost 50 years, one of the first African-American lawyers admitted in New Jersey, dean of the criminal defense bar, a longtime civil rights activist, and most important, my dad. At the time of that Supreme Court committee, they issued a report which said the problems of racial bias was intractable. When you run into an intractable problem, you should turn to your father and ask him, what do we do about the problem of young black kids continually parading through prisons and jails?
Well, I think the first thing you have to do is reform the educational system so they can learn the necessary skills and have the ability to earn some money so that they can be a part of the economic surge in this nation at this time. And until that happens, they have no alternatives but to go to the cottage industry. It used to be numbers, now it's drugs.
By numbers, you mean the lottery, the old lottery?
Yeah, which is now legalized. Of course, people used to do a lot of time in jail for being caught, for just being an eyeball, which is the guy who sits outside and said, here comes the cops. You did a year in jail for that. Because the casinos, as you know, because we represented Resorts International when they first got their license, legalizing the state.
Let me ask you this. Do you agree that social justice concerns, and in particular education, are the key to this process of young blacks being disproportionately
Yes, Mr. Brown, I
represented?
totally agree with your dad in that point. I think that's the secret to anything in the future with these.
Well, let me ask you the political question of whether or not you see any evidence of a significant commitment to changing that significant inequality in education as it relates to criminal justice.
Well, I can't comment because I'm not in the educational field. I'm strictly in the judiciary, but certainly what your dad says, that I think jobs, a good economic foundation is going to be a cure to some of our problems today.
Is there anything within the criminal justice system itself that needs to be changed in order to stem this tide?
Well, I think our committee, who incidentally was extremely hardworking on the recent project, and the report just recently filed with our Supreme Court and the Chief Justice, has pointed out there are two areas which we are concerned, one of which is the bail situation, and the other, of course, is the sentencing situation. The bail situation, which the committee felt should be addressed, is an examination of our entire procedure in setting bail. Bail, as you are well aware, is not to be punitive, but to ensure defendants' appearance before the court.
Wouldn't it be fair to say that your committee essentially said that the time since the last committee, very little has been done to make progress on bail or sentencing?
That is correct. Right.
So that in that sense, we're moving backwards. Do you see any sign of political will to begin to make the kind of changes in bail and sentencing that may make some positive impact on this?
You're looking at me?
I'm looking at you.
Of course there's no political will. The political will has gone to the direction of higher bail and build more prisons. In fact, we had a bail reform in Essex County, which was abandoned because there were some violations of people who were given the opportunity to get out on bail, and so we now have the Neanderthal approach, which is lock them up and the higher the bail, the better. But if you don't start with the juvenile system and don't start early on, there is no hope for reformation in the so-called senior system once you're after 17 and you get into the meat grinder, and nothing's being done about it, and it's politically unacceptable. As a matter of fact, the judiciary in New Jersey is ahead of the political system and is far more progressive and even examining the problem, even though Mr. Wilens comes up with the idea that if there is bias, it's unintentional, which is nonsense. But the judiciary is at least examining it. The judicial process has reached a point where our legislature simply wants more Megan laws, more problems, more shut them up, shoot them if necessary.
Some reformers have suggested that as the cost of continuing to build prisons gets higher, that may cause some change in policy. Do you think that's likely?
No way.
You don't think it will get
Our
too expensive?
politicians are still tough on crime. Hang them, shoot them, have the families come in and witness the execution. In fact, let them give the injections.
Judge, while we were watching the package, one of the speakers mentioned that if this same phenomena, 40% of young white males in the suburbs were being incarcerated, there'd be a greater willingness on a part of society to take some serious action about fundamental problems. Do you agree with that?
Well, I disagree with that because I think, as your dad has pointed out, I think our Supreme Court, our Chief Justice, our entire judiciary is taking a look at the problem. We can't solve all the problems, but we are taking a look at it, and I think one of the areas where the judiciary can improve is the intensive study that our Minority Concerns Committee has recommended to the Chief Justice in the Supreme Court to examine this whole bail procedure. And in addition thereto, also to examine the sentencing procedures that we employ.
And in fact, there's a concern about the relationship between bail. That is, if people don't get bail, they have a more difficult time defending themselves.
Exactly. And the other thing, as your dad pointed out, and aptly so, I think that the juvenile problem is really one where we have to address. I sit on the subcommittee that addresses juvenile concerns on the Minority Concerns Committee, and I think we've got to convince the youth that we do have a good system. It may have its problems. We've got to bring our minorities into our court system by the use of volunteers. We've got to foster a trust in the community of the court system.
Judge, you focused our attention on juveniles. Now, my dad has been active with the Essex County Youth House, and one of the statistics mentioned in our package was that there are very few, if any, white kids in the juvenile house.
I've seen 5 white kids in the Essex County Youth House in 1 year. And of course, the family court has to be considered as the primary court of access for minorities. For example, in Essex County, Judge Fullerlove was working in the family court, juvenile matters. Now he's the executive judge because he's much in demand, but we only have, well, the representation there of minority judges is very limited and in most counties non-existent. The essential to the consideration of the juvenile incarceration problem is the development of alternative programs. For example, I've been before judges in the family court in Newark who are very sensitive. Example, I see a young guy in the youth house, he's about 5 feet tall, he's 14 years old. And I go up to him while he's linked with the others on the chain and I say to him, listen, why are you in here? He says, I was a passenger in a stolen car. The policy in New Jersey now is everybody goes, the driver and the passengers go into the youth house. So I said, how many days have you been here? 68 days. I said, wait a minute. I will not name the judge. He was kind enough to let me talk to him about this matter. And he says, yeah, but last year he was here when he was 13. He was driving a stolen car. But I said, I have reason to believe after talking to him and examining the file that he has a mental problem. He says, you're right, and so does his mother have a mental problem. And he's very busy defending his fellow siblings against the stepfather who's beating the hell out of the mother and the kids. So I said to him, well, Judge, what are you going to do to him? He says, I'm going to send him to the Burg, which is Jamesburg. I said, what? He says, well, you tell me where to send him. He said, I don't have any alternative.
Judge, where would you have sent him?
Well, I think your dad hit the nail on the head. I think the whole purpose of sentencing or dispositional hearings in juvenile is to find some innovative dispositions, and they are few and far between.
But it's fair to say that your committee said that there are not adequate resources, so that
That's
young
correct.
man, there really isn't a facility easily identifiable without some additional resources to send him.
Well, what I did on my own initiative, and had to pay for it, by the way, was to bring in an expert, a very fine guy named Jesse Moskowitz, who worked for 30 years with the state, and Jesse knows the buttons and where to send. So we began to develop alternative programs. And then the prisoners, these wise young men of 15, 16, threw me a right hook. I said, here's a program, 9 months. This will give you training and all the rest of it. He said, Mr. Brown, what are you trying to do to me? He said, I'll go to the Burg. I said, but you got a year. He says, listen, the Burg is crowded. I'll do 3 months. You put me in that program, that's 9 months. I ain't buying it. I said, but this program is great for you. He says, come on. He says, listen, I'll go to the Burg, I'll do 3 months, and I'll come home. I go back to the same judge I talked to, and he said, well, we don't have the alternative programs to send them to. I see a young woman in there who's 14 years old, and she's pregnant. What's she doing in here? She was in a fight with another girl. Go back to the judge and say, what am I going to do with her?
But Judge, we could fill this room with reports that say, without additional resources, we have no way to reach these youths. Yes. And in the last analysis, there is some need for political will, in a broader sense. I don't mean Republican, Democratic politics. Yes. Do you see any sign from neighbors, from your constant contact with huge numbers of citizens of the state, that that will is going to be generated?
Well, I think, again, I speak strictly as a judge, and certainly not as a political figure. I think the essence of the problem is that we've got to educate the community that there is a problem and that we've got to bring them into the court system to show them that we can dispense justice, especially with the youth, but we do need the resources. As your dad says, the alternate programs are really the thing of the future to cure any problems that we have. I spent 10 years in the family court before I became assignment judge. It's probably the toughest court in the system. I've served in every division of the Superior Court, and I was always sensitive on a dispositional hearing. It's very, very difficult as a judge to dispose of a juvenile's case, far more difficult than an adult defendant, because there's so much in the future of that juvenile in your hands.
With race and justice as pivotal factors, let's go back to the Essex County Youth House. There obviously are white kids who are committing offenses in Essex County.
Cops don't bring them there. Cops don't bring them, they take them home. The cops make the initial disposition of a juvenile is in the hands of the police through their system. They have a system whereby they determine where the kid will go. The white kids do not go in Essex County to the youth house. They are sent home, they're given alternative programs, and there are some alternative programs in Essex which they take full advantage of. They either go home or go to a foster home for incarceration. They are not brought into the youth house, and racism is rampant. It is just dictates the entire process from the beginning to end. And the political system, which we rely upon to balance the equities, of course, has gone in favor of anti-crime, and anti-crime is us, we black folks. And when I look at these so-called experts you have in this preliminary run, these black academics, they are a bad joke. They don't know what's happening out there. They know what's happening in the courts.
Judge, the conscious racism, does that exist in the court system as well as in the police department where my dad has described?
I can't speak for the police department. I can speak for the judiciary. To my knowledge, not consciously. However, as our committee pointed out, there is some improvement. We've recommended the study on bail. We've recommended that judges be taught to look at innovative bail setting, innovative sentencing. The problems with bail is that once a defendant, especially a disadvantaged poor defendant, is placed in incarceration, as our committee pointed out, that person cannot raise the bail so that a job may be lost or even the opportunity to get a job. As our committee pointed out, we feel that an intensive study may cure this situation, at least give us some opportunity to devise new ways of conditionally setting a bail innovatively to ensure a nonviolent offender to appear in court. Because again, the premise is that defendants should not be punished by bail, but just to ensure their appearance.
Our tendency to some extent, I guess, here is to focus a little bit on rules and analyses in New Jersey, but in fact, these same numbers exist throughout the country. And indeed, the federal system.
Different. New Jersey, in fact, is more enlightened, and I can speak for having fought in the courts, in the pit, for 50 years, that our judiciary is enlightened by comparison with most of those in other states. In fact, I would say we've had a series of chief justices who have just been outstanding. And they are in the forefront of trying to work changes within the framework of the law. But the law is circumscribed by the political necessities which come out of the legislators who are not, who don't give a damn about anything other than satisfying their white constituents who want to be rid of this black crime, which to their horror is spreading to the suburbs, and now the white kids are into drugs. And still, it's black crime that frightens white people, and they dominate the legislature, and our governors, except for Governor Hughes, have been equally insensitive to it. And the present governor may or may not be insensitive, but I've seen no sign that she is.
Just last week, the Supreme Court of the United States heard argument in a case about the differences between crack and powder cocaine, that the crack sentences are 100 times greater than comparable powder sentences, and 97% of those arrested and incarcerated for crack are black. That's the problem on a national scale in an area of great sensitivity. Any sign of any intelligent discourse?
Well, no, the commission on guidelines has recommended that disparity be changed, but the legislature have said no. They have said that that an imprisonment for crack calls for at least 100% greater sentence, because cocaine, of course, is more common among whites. Crack is a cheaper form, the rock form, more prevalent among minority people. But the legislature will not change. And as long as white America believes that white is right and blacks step back, the judiciary is fighting a losing battle. And we have a progressive court, a court which is sensitive to it. They can't get the money from the legislature's not going to provide it, and white America hates blacks and fears every black man who walks down the street. You can't even get a cab if you're black. And of course, I sometimes, the only time in my life when I'm sorry that I'm light-skinned is when the cab driver stops for me and I see he's passed up a black person to come to me. I like to say you. Well, I won't say what I
We're
like
drawing to
say.
the end. If you were emperor instead of judge tomorrow, one change. The end of this discussion. If you were emperor instead of judge tomorrow, one change.
One change, I would like to see our very fine judicial system here in New Jersey address this problem and attempt to solve it as we had. I teach at the National Judicial College. I want to add to what your dad said. Our Chief Justice, Robert Wilentz, and our Supreme Court and our judiciary, hardworking judiciary in New Jersey is known.
Let me ask my dad, let him have a shot at being
nationwide
emperor.
as a great.
1 degree as emperor, yes.
Well, I'd give everybody a choice of being white or black. I'd have a wand. I don't know how many blacks would stay black. A lot of them most of them want to be white anyhow.
The premise of a very interesting novel.
Magic wand. That's what I say.
And that's
give
it.
everybody a choice. You can be white tomorrow.
That's it for this edition of Due Process. But we'll be back next week with a look back on our first season and a look ahead to our second. A review of where we've been, a preview of where we're going. That's next time on Due Process. Till then, I'm Ray Brown.
I think at the least, in terms of a remedy, a very modest remedy would be to treat like cases alike. Right now, that's not happening. Certainly, if you commit a crime, I don't think anyone's going to say that you shouldn't be sentenced accordingly. But that's not what's happening. What's happening is that if a white and black person commit the same crime, too often they are getting disparate sentences when all other factors are controlled for. So I think one very modest remedy, what we've been asking for in the history of the civil rights movement for years, is just equal application of the law.
Major funding for Due Process was made possible by the New Jersey State Bar Foundation, committed to educating the public about the law. Additional funding was provided by Lawyer's Diary and Manual, publishers of print and electronic information for and about the legal community, including the Legislative Manual.